The war between Israel and Hamas has entered the 10th day, with the Israeli forces continuing its effort to neutralize Hamas terrorists. In an expanded emergency cabinet meeting, Israeli Prime Minister Netanyahu has vowed to demolish the Hamas. Meanwhile, the White House has announced that Israel is confirmed turning the water supply back on in southern Gaza, which is currently tackling water shortage. My colleague Akshit has spoken to some of the foreign students stuck in Israel amidst the war. Let's take a look.
We are right now in Tel Aviv in Israel. Airstrikes have been continuing. Everyone rushed to the shelter. They are planning ground assault into Gaza. Well, the tensions between Israel and Hamas continues to escalate as the IDF, the Israeli Defense Forces, has also announced that a coordinated attack from air, sea and land will also be launched very soon, perhaps a ground assault. But the tension in people, also continues to loom over their heads. So I have some people with me, who have come here to study in Israel. Of course, the war at Israel. So you have come here to study. So what have you experienced in the past few days?
I just want to say first that I'm currently enrolled at Columbia University. I'm a Columbia University student. And I want to say that what's happening at Columbia University and the anti-Semitism that has occurred since this war broke out is absolutely heartbreaking. I want to say that there's no way in which anyone fighting for freedom ever has an excuse to rape women, parade their bodies through the street, burn and behead babies, or do any of the heinous actions that Hamas has done in the name of killing Jews. That is not being a freedom fighter. Attacking civilians and live streaming their murder to their families and sending it to them personally to show them the horrors is in no way fighting for freedom. Watching people in America protest in support of these heinous actions shows Jews around the world that people do not consider our lives to be valuable and the actions committed against us to be atrocious. I want to say to the camera and to the world, Hamas is not about the Palestinian people. Gaza has a beautiful coastline. When I visited Gaza in 2004, there were beautiful greenhouses and irrigation systems. When Hamas took ownership and took control of Gaza, they burned all the technology of Gaza. Every time they get foreign aid, they put their foreign aid towards making terror tunnels and making the lives of their citizens hell. You cannot be gay in Gaza. You cannot have equal rights in Gaza. You can't be a feminist in Gaza. The people of Gaza are oppressed by Hamas. This is not a fight for the Palestinian people or Palestinian independence. No one on this world, no one on this earth wants Palestinian people to be hurt or in any way to die because of this conflict. Israel sends flyers before they drop bombs on Gaza. They tell the people to flee and evacuate Gaza. Egypt hasn't done anything. They haven't taken in Gazan civilians. This is not a fight between Israel and Palestine, and anyone who says that is completely negating the value of Jewish life. This is a fight between Israel and Hamas, a terrorist organization whose charter has the expressive desire to kill every single Jew. And if around the world people aren't speaking up, then they were allowing the horrors of the Holocaust to continue. We all say, how did the Holocaust happen? How did the world allow for the slaughter of 6 million Jews? And before our very eyes, we're watching people excuse rape and murder and beheading and burning. And it's more than that. They filmed it on a GoPro. They logged onto a girl's Facebook, onto a grandmother's Facebook, and they showed them murdering someone's grandmother. The hostages, they sent videos of them murdering the hostages, and they took their phones and they sent the videos to their parents. This is psychological warfare of the worst degree. And if anyone in the world says Jewish lives and then says the word but, or puts context to it, or politicizes it, they are anti-Semitic. They are anti-Semitic, and there's absolutely no defense ever for hurting civilians, for raping women, for raping an 8-year-old child and sending the video to her father. That's not a fight for freedom. And we stand with India. We understand that India has had its own issues with radical terrorism. And I think the world should stand against terrorism. Did you want to say something?
Well, I also want to ask you, you have also come to study here. And the universities are not open now. So what did you experience in the past few days?
Yeah, so I actually arrived last Friday, the night before everything erupted on Saturday morning, and I was so excited. I left my apartment in New York after living there for 9 years. I had a whole plan in mind for the future of this year to live here. I love Israel. I've been here 8 times. I'm Jewish. I went to a Jewish day school my whole life. I learned Hebrew. I have immense love and appreciation for this country. And all I wanted was to come here and experience the culture and the people and all the amazing things it has to offer. And what I the school now is saying that they'll be open next Monday in a hybrid form. So in class and on Zoom. I'm actually supposed to be getting a master's in security and diplomacy. So very applicable. This is the biggest case study, that you could ever be involved in. But I don't want to do this on Zoom. I don't want to learn this in Zoom. It's all about the Israeli-Palestinian conflict. I was looking forward to learning as much as I can about the issues, about the history, so I could defend confidently and comfortably to anyone I ever meet about the issue. Because half the problem is that the world is so uninformed. They're so uneducated about this, whether they choose to be or they want to be. It's ignorance. It's just blatant ignorance going on. All the social media posts blaming Israel for this, blaming Israel for that. We have been the ones supporting Gaza for years, since 2007. Water, fuel, gas. If they didn't have this, they'd be in a worse condition. They have a government that is a terrorist organization, and for anyone that chooses to deny that, frankly, you are scum. You are just stupid. You can't be any more you're denying factual information. If you want to go rally for Palestine, you want to have a protest for Palestine, why don't you protest that the 16 other Arab countries take in innocent Gazan civilians? Why are we to blame? Why are we continuously responsible for people that aren't even our citizens? Where are the brothers and sisters of these innocent Palestinian people? Take them into your 16 other Arab countries. It's not our responsibility anymore. We got attacked by a terrorist organization that governs these people. They put their own people in this situation, and we have to be responsible for them. In what world?
Also, what country in the entire world would send flyers down to their civilians and warn them to evacuate? What other country in the world would send to their enemies water and electricity? And what other country in the world would give away their land for peace and then watch how their land that they gave away for peace becomes a territory to launch rockets at their civilians? I'm sure you've been here, so I'm sure you've had to run from the sirens. The way in which Hamas does these sirens and they don't do the sirens, but the ways in which they throw these rockets is in purpose, so there's no order, so that's chaos, so that it's random, to inflict psychological warfare upon the civilians that live here. When Israel drops bombs, they warn the civilians to leave. This is completely, we're watching terrorism happen and we're watching people justify it. And anyone who justifies the actions of Hamas is a terrorist. They're a terrorist supporter, and that's...
Well, yes, a lot of devastation has actually happened, but you are in Tel Aviv. It's in the central. So do you feel safe?
My building, the apartment that I'm living in, I actually don't have a shelter, and my stairwell has windows. So in order to run to the shelter, I have to run. I have to be there in a minute and a half. Because I'm so scared that I won't make it in time, I haven't slept. I've been sleeping on people's couches. I don't feel safe, and yet I feel safer here than I feel in America. I know that a former person in Hamas has called for everyone around the world to attack Jews. I feel safer here because I know that I'm surrounded by people that will protect me, that everyone here, no one pushes anyone on the way to the shelter. Everyone here offers. I've been volunteering. I've been packing food for soldiers. I'm in so many group chats of people trying to help in any way they can. Even during this worst time, it's just very beautiful to see how much everyone in Israel really cares about their neighbor. So I feel safer here. I know that's crazy, but I feel safe. There's terror in me for the hostages. And for the sirens, every time I hear any noise, I think it's a siren. It could be a child sneezing. It could be someone laughing. But was that a good answer? I don't know. I'm a little overexhausted.
Yeah. Thanks a lot for speaking to us here on NewsX, and we hope that you remain safe, your family remains safe. Thanks a lot once again for speaking.
And showing to your country and your people what's going on here, and hopefully it's all good, accurate information as it seems to be. We really appreciate what you're doing here for everyone.
Thanks a lot.
Thank you for standing with the Jewish people.
Thanks a lot for speaking to us. Of course, you heard the people out here. We have actually talked to a lot of people, who are expressing that they only want one thing, that is peace. And perhaps, of course, it remains to be seen as to, how soon the peace is established in the war hit Israel. In Israel, with camera person Dinesh Thakur, Akshit Gupta for NewsX.
For more such videos, subscribe to the NewsX YouTube channel, hit the bell icon.